Welcome back everyone to another portfolio update video. I'm back once again covering the performance of my $152,000 portfolio. And in this video, we'll also jump into all the holdings I have in my portfolio, as well as any transactions, stock buys, sales, or dividends my accounts have seen over the past week. As mentioned, the portfolio is currently valued at $151,996.14, just updated there, so about 152K, and it is up $25,500 and or 20% all time. My portfolio can then be broken down into the following accounts. Firstly, my Wealthsimple Cash account, which earns me 5% interest. This account is worth $25,110.85. And then my TFSA, which is worth $43,388.86. And then my RRSP, which is at $37,684.22. My non-registered account, which is $17,529.03. And lastly, my cryptocurrency account, which is $28,263.19. Really quick before we get any further, if you enjoy my content, be sure to hit that subscribe and bell icon to never miss a upload in the future. And if you've already done that, then be sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps out the channel, as I'm still trying to reach 2,000 subscribers before 2024 is over. Heading on into the TFSA to start us out this week, it's sitting at $43,388.86, and it's up $700 and or 1.65% over the last week. And since I haven't made a video in like 3 months, I'm going to check out the past month performance, which is almost 4% and or $1,600. And on the 3-month performance, about $1,500 or 3.57%. As for the transactions here in the TFSA, I had a $200 deposit of cash, and with that cash, I bought $160 worth of XEQT and $40 worth of QQC.F. And I did have a sell this week of CrowdStrike as I was up over 100% on this stock, so I sold half of it, and that came out to about $2,068 worth. And lastly, I got a dividend from VDY worth $11.71, and that was automatically reinvested with DRIP. Next up, my RRSP, it's valued at $37,684.22. This account is up $300 or 0.81% this week, and on the 1 month, it is up $1,900 or 5.36%, and the 3 month, it is up almost $3,000 or 8.16%. For the transactions here in this account, I had a deposit of $200. I had a buy of VOO of $120, a buy of SCHD of $80, a buy of Palantir of $100, and lastly, a dividend from VDY worth $2.32, which again was automatically reinvested with DRIP. The non-registered account is at $17,529.03. This account is up almost $150 on the week or 0.85%. The 1 month performance is up $500 or 3.07%, and the 3 month performance is up almost $1,000 or 6%. For the transactions here in the non-registered, again, still it is not really being funded at all. This was an account that I funded a bunch a couple of years ago when my TFSA and RRSP were full, but I do still have a bunch of allocation room in my TFSA and RRSP for 2024, so don't expect to see much going into this account for this year. Unless I somehow get a bunch of money. But anyways, I just had one dividend in this account from VDY worth $5.66. And as always, it was reinvested with DRIP. Next up is my very volatile crypto account. It's sitting at $28,275.55. This number will probably update as I'm talking here. On the week, this account is actually down almost $2,100 and or almost 7%. But if we check out the month here, 8.72%, it's up or $2,200. The 3 month, it is down $6,700 or 20%, but I don't think that's true because I did take some profits of Bitcoin. I took about $5,000 worth of profit on Bitcoin. As you can see here on this graph, there's quite a bit of a plunge right there. That was me withdrawing some Bitcoin funds. So I don't think that 3 month is accurate, but checking out the 1 year performance, 170% or 17.8K up on the crypto account. The crypto account saw a $100 cash deposit, a $30 buy of Ethereum, a $30 buy of Polygon Matic, a $20 buy of Chainlink, and lastly, a $20 buy of Polkadot. My last account here, my Wealthsimple Cash account, earning me 5% interest, is at $25,110.85. So far this month, it has earned almost $48 worth of interest. And if you can see any of the transactions on the bottom here, I might have it cropped out a little bit, but don't worry about any of those. That is just me funding my TFSA, RRSP, and crypto account with my cash account. If you're a Canadian and you're interested in using my platform of choice, Wealthsimple, you can sign up using my link in the description to receive $25 when you open and fund your Wealthsimple account with as little as $1. You can literally deposit $1 and get $25 for free if you use that link in the description. All right, so we're over here on my portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which is saying my portfolio is valued at $152,065.97. This is much more accurate of a number than Wealthsimple typically has. So I tend to use this value more times than not. And the total return of my accounts is $25,000 and or 20%. And yeah, so I haven't made a video in a few months, but I have been keeping up on keeping all the numbers updated here on my spreadsheet. So probably the last time you saw this was probably the March bar chart here. As you can see, the deposit line, this red line here, is kind of stagnated. I haven't really been making a lot of deposits into my accounts just simply because I've been having to spend a lot of money on my house. If you are a homeowner, if you have become a homeowner recently, you know that there's a lot of money that goes into things that you just wouldn't even think of. So I haven't really been able to deposit a bunch of money into the markets over the last few months, and I do not expect to for another few months at least. But I did have a good run for a couple years when rent was low. So I really took advantage of that, and we'll scroll down here. You'll still see I do have my FHSA here still. This account has nothing in it. I closed this account. I ended up moving most of the funds into my cash account and again, using some of the funds for some purchases. But overall, the accounts have seen some pretty steady growth over the past few months, as you can see here on these bar charts. Nothing crazy. And yeah, this is the part of the video if you want to pause as I scroll down here. You can check out all my individual holdings. It's much easier to see my individual holdings on this spreadsheet than it is on Wealthsimple's platform. So feel free to pause at any point here as I'm scrolling down if you want to see any of my holdings, like my average cost basis on my holdings and stuff like that. Also swing over to the crypto so you can pause on here as well. So you all did see that I sold some CrowdStrike this week. I was up over 100% at the time of selling it. I had 8 shares, but I'm now down to only 4 shares. I typically like selling half of my position once I reach 100% when I can. There have been times where I haven't, but this is something recently over the past maybe 12 months I've started doing. I'll just like recycling that money into other opportunities that I might see, or just putting it into the S&P as a safety net, because individual stocks can be quite volatile. Like CrowdStrike could drop to like $200 in a month from now, for all I know, drop 50%. So I kind of just like recycling some of those funds with individual holdings most of the time. And there's another holding down here, my RRSP, that I no longer have, which is NVIDIA. I sold my NVIDIA pretty much right around the stock split. I do think this stock is going to go down soon. I feel like it's got a bunch of hype around it, and it's scaring me a little bit. I decided to just get out. I was up like 400% on NVIDIA, maybe almost 500%. So that's why I have about $3,000 of cash in here. But I'm going to reallocate it to other opportunities, which would be Palantir. I'm very, very bullish on Palantir, and maybe even some more Tesla. I do have a bunch of Tesla, like 10% of my RRSP is Tesla, 10% of my TFSA is Tesla. I have a bunch of Tesla. I'm kind of hesitant to buy more, but I'm really, really bullish on them. And I kind of see Tesla and Palantir doubling in price quicker than NVIDIA would. Like NVIDIA's hitting like a $3 trillion market cap, which is like getting up there with Apple and Microsoft. Like the chances of NVIDIA doubling over the next 12 months, I don't feel like it's the same as Tesla or Palantir. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that. And of course, we have the FHSA still here, but it's got nothing in it. This account is closed. I took out all that money and put most of it into my cash account. That's why I've got about 25K worth of cash now. Nothing really going on in the non-registered account. As I have mentioned, this account was mostly funded at times where my TFSA and RRSP were full, so don't mind that. Heading over to crypto here, it's just kind of been doing its thing. It'll have a really good week and a really bad week and so on. I am up quite heavily on some of these positions still. I'm not quite at the place where I want to take more profits. I do still think there's much more upside in crypto over the next 12 to 18 months. So I'm being patient. I'm keeping my eye on things. If things do change, I'll probably act a little bit more quickly. But as things stand, I'm DCAing. I'm continuing to pick up some altcoins here. I'm no longer buying Bitcoin because I'm up quite a bit on Bitcoin, to be honest, and I don't think it's really worth buying at this price. But there's a bunch of altcoins that just haven't seen this price surge like Bitcoin has, and typically, if history repeats itself, which there's no guarantee, these altcoins should perform pretty well in the near future. Keeping up with the investment plan for 2024, I'm still on pace to hit all these numbers that I have written in here. Anything that's green is things that have been confirmed. Anything white here, this is TBD kind of. But I am on pace to max out my TFSA, RRSP, and get all these crypto allocations in for 2024. Again, I've got like $25,000 of cash. Some of it I'll have to use for my house, which kind of sucks that I have to take out from an account that I kind of see as an investment account, but it is what it is. But I do have a lot of cash on hand to be able to max out these TFSA and RRSP accounts, which is massive for me. As for the dividends, almost $1,000 worth of dividends and interest received so far in 2024, about halfway through the year at this point, I think. We've already surpassed the total dividends and interest we received in 2023. And if we kind of go down into the individual accounts, it's been a few months since I've shown you all this, so we'll go over the numbers here. $23 of dividends in April in the TFSA, $13 in May, about $12 so far in June. July is going to be a big month for dividends in the TFSA. Going down here, the FHSA, we'll kind of ignore this. This account's closed. This account is kind of just wiped off the radar for me. I don't even think about it anymore. It is what it is. I made a little bit of money, like 8% on this account while I had it open. Obviously, I have a house, so I can't have an FHSA anymore. But going down to the RRSP, $0 of dividends in April, $2.30 in May, $2.30 in June so far. July is going to be a big month in the RRSP for dividends, just like the TFSA. And same with the non-registered. I should get about $40, $50 of the dividends in July in the non-registered account, I think. But about $6 so far in June, $5.60 in May, and $38 there in April. And lastly, my Wealthsimple Cash account. I got about $112 here on June 1st for my interest payment. It'll be around the same for July 1st, maybe about $105 to $110, somewhere in there. But for May, I got another $105, and April was $44. So even though it has been a few months since I made a video, I'm overall pretty happy with the performance of my accounts. Markets have been doing phenomenal. It has been my allocations that have been struggling just because life just overnight became much more expensive, and it's going to take a bit of time to adapt. So don't expect any crazy deposits into any accounts from me. I'm kind of just going to let things grow, take from my cash account here, which is $25,100, and get that into my RRSP when I can, get it into my TFSA when I can, and just let things build and brew for probably most of 2024, and then hopefully in 2025 I can start going a little bit more ham with the deposits like I used to back in 2022 and 2023 here. But that is going to do it for this week's portfolio update video. If you have made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you are not subscribed with that bell icon hit, be sure to do so you never miss a video in the future. And if you've already done that, be sure to leave a like on this video. Let's try and get it to as many likes as humanly possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.